Hey there, welcome to my channel. You know what day it is? It's time for another installment of our series. Let me introduce this week's subject, our boy Gaius. Born in 12 AD, Gaius was the son of the well-respected general Germanicus and Agrippina, the elder, a granddaughter of Emperor Augustus himself. So yeah, he was related to some pretty important people. And being the grandson of old man Augustus meant that little Gaius was destined for greatness. As a child, he was raised among soldiers. He was often seen running around the barracks dressed in a tiny soldier's uniform, which earned him the nickname Caligula, which means little boots. Yeah, that's where we got the name from. And apparently he was quite good at getting the troops riled up. The legions absolutely adored him. But behind that innocent smile, a storm was brewing. When Caligula was just 7, his father died under mysterious circumstances while stationed in Syria. Many suspected that Emperor Tiberius had poisoned him. And if you ask me, the timing is just a little too suspicious. Not long after, Caligula's mother and his 2 brothers began speaking out against Tiberius. And as a result, they paid the ultimate price. One by one, they were exiled, imprisoned, and eventually killed. Only Caligula survived. At age 19, he was summoned to the island of Capri by the aging Emperor Tiberius, who had made the mistake of adopting Caligula's father, Germanicus, into his will. Tiberius had become increasingly paranoid and withdrawn. His court was a nest of vipers, and his sprawling villa was fast becoming a den of cruelty and excess. Here young Caligula lived, watching, learning, and waiting. Tiberius reportedly said, "I am nursing a viper for the Roman people." He had no idea how right he was. In 37 AD, Tiberius died, supposedly with Caligula's help. And when that happened, Rome celebrated. The Senate wasted no time declaring Caligula emperor, and the city erupted in joy. He was welcomed as a hero, as the savior of Rome, as the living embodiment of his father, Germanicus. For a moment it seemed like Rome had it figured out, had a young, charismatic leader who was generous and just. But that honeymoon period lasted only a few months. In late 37 or early 38, Caligula fell gravely ill. Some historians say it was poisoning, but others believe it may have been a case of epilepsy or perhaps mental illness. Whatever the cause, he did recover, but something had changed. The happy, jovial young man who'd taken the throne was gone. In his place was a broken individual with unchecked power and an unhinged mind. And so it began. The downfall of the last Julio Claudian, the end of the dynasty that Augustus had started. The first to feel the wrath of the new dark Caligula were his cousin Julia Drusilla and his brother-in-law, Lucius Cassius, both of whom he had previously named as co-consuls. After a vicious argument over chariot racing, Caligula had them both executed, along with several loyal senators who dared to oppose him. He laughed as he watched them die. According to Suetonius, he took great pleasure in humiliating his victims. Once he chained chariots to chariots like horses and whipped the senators until they fell out of their seats. He chained noble women to chariots like horses and forced them to pull him around. He hosted wild, debauched parties, then watched as guests were whipped or drowned on a whim. His cruelty knew no bounds. At one point, he emptied the imperial treasury, then blamed the citizens of Rome for squandering the money and taxed them into poverty. This wasn't the first or last time he played the blame game. He delighted in throwing gold coins from a tower, enjoying the sight of common folk fighting over the riches. Caligula declared himself a god and built temples in his own honor. He placed his statue inside the Jewish temple in Jerusalem, an act that nearly ignited a revolt. He chained women to chariots like horses and whipped them until they fell out of their seats. To humiliate a senator named Lentulus, he unleashed poisonous snakes into his garden, knowing that Lentulus was terrified of reptiles. He unleashed poisonous snakes into the audience at the gladiator games, laughing as terrified crowds fell victim to poisonous bites. His worst victims, though, were the Praetorian Guards. He beat them, tortured their families, and generally treated them like garbage. By 41 AD, after just 4 years of terror, Caligula's fate was sealed. A group of Praetorian Guards, led by Cassius Chaerea, a man Caligula had often mocked for his shrill voice, plotted his assassination. On January 41, in a palace corridor, they stabbed Caligula more than 30 times. His wife and daughter were murdered shortly after. The Senate rejoiced. The Praetorians paraded through the streets, and the people of Rome looked forward to a brighter future. Caligula's statues were torn down, and his memory officially damnatio memoria. But his story didn't end there. Click here to find out how Caligula's legacy lived on in the hearts and minds of the Romans. Or click here to watch this video instead. As always, thanks for watching.